शुरू करते हैं आज का शो एंड once again we are gonna have a lot of fun. We are gonna get to learn a lot from our guests tonight, from our co-host tonight. Without any further ado, I think before we get into the cream of it, the meat of it, थोड़ा सा मार्केट डिस्कस करते हैं. विजय सर, आपसे शुरू करें क्या प्लीज? व्हाट इज योर करंट व्यू ऑन द मार्केट एंड देन we'll start learning from you about from your journey, your strategies and your experiences.
Sure. Yeah, so I think market is quite good bullish. We have caught this trend from last 2 weeks now, and just when 34,800. I mean, I only trade Bank Nifty, and I only trade Bank Nifty options. So I would say my entire focus is always on Bank Nifty. So in terms of that, I would say that 34,800 was a make or break level. When that was crossed, we had a very swift rally, and that has been continuing now. So what I'm observing right now is that if you observe on a let's say hourly chart, there is a pattern that is formed that's called an inverted head and shoulder, and the target for that is around 39,000. So if all goes well, I think by expiry or maybe by Friday, Bank Nifty should try to touch 39,000. That is what I think. Yeah.
राइट, ऑसम ऑसम, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट सर. ब्रेकआउट चार्ट सर, आपसे भी थोड़ा सा क्या लगता है आपको मार्केट के बारे में अपडेट लें?
विजय सर ने बैंक निफ्टी तो पूरा कवर कर दिया. 39,000 इज अ टारगेट, बट थिंग इज इस वीक एक छुट्टी भी आ गई, फिर नेक्स्ट वीक भी छुट्टी है. आई मेजरली ट्रेड इन मंथली ऑप्शंस, तो थोड़ा उस हिसाब से एडजस्ट मुझे करना पड़ रहा है. पर ठीक है, परफेक्ट है. 39,000 आई एम, मतलब मैं बुलिश हूँ. मैं टारगेट अगर कभी रिवर्सल होगा तो मैं देख लूँगा. सो बैंक निफ्टी इज़ बुलिश. निफ्टी इज़ बुलिश. आज एच डी एफ सी बैंक, एल.एन.टी, मतलब मेजर हैवी वेट्स लाइन सब बुलिश थे क्लोजिंग पे भी, कल छुट्टी होने के बावजूद भी. तो थोड़ा एक्सपेक्टेड है कि परसों गैप या पॉजिटिव ही खुलना चाहिए. सो निफ्टी पर से इज़ बुलिश, बैंक निफ्टी इज़ बुलिश. मिड कैप स्मॉल कैप्स में सब, मतलब वी हैव गुड 150-200 पीपल राइट नाउ. सबको पता है कि सबके पोर्टफोलियो में रोज दो तीन स्टॉक 5-7-10% मार ही रहे होंगे. सो स्मॉल कैप एंड मिड कैप भी बुलिश है. अब एक थोड़ा सा टाइम करेक्शन में एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ मिड कैप्स में, कि थोड़ा सा हफ्ते 2 हफ्ते साइडवेज हो जाए, मतलब करेक्ट ना हो. एक थोड़ा सा टाइम करेक्शन की ज़रूरत है, बिकॉज थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेस्ड हो चुका है अभी. सो करेक्शन की उम्मीद तो नहीं कर रहा मैं, बट एक टाइम करेक्शन की, कि प्राइस स्टैगनेंट हो जाए, हफ्ते 2 हफ्ते, ज़्यादा कुछ ना हो. सो ओवरऑल एवरीथिंग इज़ लुकिंग बुलिश. प्राइवेट सेक्टर इंडेक्स भी देखें तो वो भी बुलिश है. आईटी में भी थोड़ा थोड़ा बाउंस आने लग गया है. बैंकिंग में अपन ने सब कवर कर ही लिया है. सो मोटा मोटी सब बुलिश है. सो अभी ऐसे जो पिछले 1 महीने पहले जब अपन स्पेसिस करते थे तो सब घबराते थे कि आर वी हेडिंग टुवर्ड्स 14,000, बट नहीं, आज अब कोई 14,000 की बात नहीं कर रहे. अब सब 18,000, 19,000, 20,000 की बात करेंगे. सो ये टाइम का साइकिल है, अब सब बुलिश हो जाएंगे. बट थोड़ा थोड़ा प्रॉफिट सब बुक करते रहिएगा, क्योंकि गलती से रिवर्स हुआ ना तो सब वापस 14,000 पे पहुंच जाएंगे. तो ये जो साइकिल है ना 14,000 और 19-20,000 की, इसमें से थोड़ा बच के रहिएगा, प्रॉफिट घर ले जाते रहिएगा. बट ओवरऑल बुलिश, नथिंग टू वरी अबाउट.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Vijay sir. Thank you so much for that breakout chat, sir. So ये तो हुई मार्केट की बात. Now let's get to the main session tonight. आज का Vijay sir has very kindly agreed to coming together with us and tonight and उनसे बहुत कुछ सीखना है सर. Before we get into your strategies and actual strategies, can you tell us a little bit about how did you get into stock markets and how did your journey come about that you've reached here tonight? इतने बड़े लेवल पे आप हो, सब लोग आपकी इतनी कल्ट फॉलोइंग है हाइट से. How did that happen?
Okay. So I started market, trading. I actually started investing around 2013 and or 2014 when I started investing in mutual funds. And after that, I was into BPO actually, and I had a BPO business right from 2011. So my BPO business was doing good, but then the issue was, as everyone knows about it, that I was working in night shifts, and from 2006 I was working in night shifts. So it was taking a big toll of on my body and my health also, and I was getting lung infections again and again. So right around 2016 when I started, as everyone has beginner's luck, you start investing in stocks, and when your broker gives you calls, and it works fine. And then slowly and gradually they get you into FNO also. And within a month or two, I started trading FNO without knowing anything or nothing at all, just depending on brokers calls. And I made some money at the start, but then, as we don't know what risk management is, discipline and position sizing, nothing at all. We just get into it and we feel that, array, this is a cakewalk, and whatever your broker says, you do it, and you'll make good money. So that is how it started. And then once the beginner luck starts fading, that is when I started losing money, and I lost heavily. And within the next 3.5 years, I almost lost 40 lakh rupees in FNOs. So going through that situation and going through all the health issues as well. And then I decided ki boss, after some time, then the male ego, or uh, that creeps in, that boss, you have done one business successfully, why can't you do this business successfully, or what is that you're lacking around? So then that is when I came across technicals, and slowly gradually I try to learn about it, try to understand about it. And 2019 end was when I met my mentors, and those were the ones who guided me. And that is where I understood the importance of what is risk management, what is discipline, then what is position sizing, then how we have to protect our capital. All of this I learned through that. And by God's grace, 2020 was a breakout year for me. And that is where I recovered all my losses of the 4 years. And then from there, it's been a great journey. And training I started 2021. It was all what I actually never thought of getting into training, or maybe helping out people. But it just that I had a helping nature, and we were in groups. And the mentor that I had, Jiten Bhai, he's also there. Jeet Bhai, he was the one who taught us being humble, and he was the one who selflessly he helped everyone. So that nature I had, and I started helping everyone. And that is where everyone said that we want you to train us or help us in a longer term. So that is where I thought of getting into a program wherein I can help people and train them live, so that they can go through all the ups and downs what a trader goes through. They can analyze and understand how the market structure is made, where our traps are made, where you can get good points, how you have to maintain the balance of psychology. So that is when I started my training last year, May of 2021. And I can very happily, or you can call it proudly, I can say that I've trained more than 3,000 students in the last 1 year. So it's been a volatile journey, but then at the end of the day, I got a good breakout. And now the only thing I feel I need to do is keep it stable, and keep it like a flag pattern, and then maybe another breakout we can get.
Wow, that's brilliant, sir. 3,000 is a big, big number. सर थोड़ा सा इफ यू कैन गिव अस इनसाइट्स ऑन सो आपने ऑलरेडी थोड़ा सा कवर किया है इसको कि यू मोस्टली ट्रेड इन बैंक निफ्टी एंड निफ्टी सो व्हाट स्ट्रेटजीज डू यू जनरली फॉलो इन ट्रेडिंग दीज टू इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स
So I focus on two strategies. One is trading momentum, and one is scalping. So basically, momentum is where we get a breakout or a breakdown, and where a trend following happens, or when we get a strong momentum on one side. Let's say for last 2 weeks, last 2 to 3 weeks, we can say we are getting a good momentum on the upside. So I would like to trade those. So I started actually with scalping, where I used to get 20, 30 points, 20, 30 points. But then when breakout or breakdown used to happen, I was not able to trade them. So over the process, and over through the learning, and watching the market again and again for months and years, I found out that there is a particular knack or particular setup that I use, that that happens, or that gives me a strong conviction that yes, this is where the breakout is happening, and now I can at least get 100 to 100 points in a option trades, or maybe sometimes 400 or 500 points also. So that is where I started trading momentum also. And scalping was something, it came to me naturally, because I've been the BPO guy into multitasking and working long hours on computer. So scalping came natural to me, and then I traded momentum as well.
Right, right, awesome. Sir, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ऑफ कोर्स इज कि आप मोमेंटम ट्रेड करते हो, स्कैल्पिंग करते हो, इसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है एक रिस्क मैनेजमेंट वाला एस्पेक्ट. सो जनरली व्हाट डू यू गो फॉर दैट इन इट?
Okay. So earlier I never understood the power of risk management, and what I understood after going through the process was that after I was profitable, okay, so this is how I try to follow my risk management. Let's say, for example, I have a capital of 50 lakhs, okay. Now, being a momentum trader or an option buyer, now for an option buyer, this is very, very important to have a good position sizing. Why? Because the mathematics of options is always against you. Because if the price is not going to move, you are sure going to lose money. So what I based on my trading style, what I did was, I want to deploy only 10% of my total capital. So for example, if I have a total capital of 50 lakhs, I want to keep only 5 lakhs in my trading account. So what that does is, that restricts me from taking over position sizing. So it's not that I'll keep my entire capital in my trading account. I'll only keep 10% of it, and from that 10%, then I will try to uh, decide the positions rising as per the trade. So if it's a momentum trade, then I'll go for, let's say, 1200 quantities or maybe 1500 quantities, and I'm looking for a option strike price around 300, which is at the money. So that is what I do. And scalping again, if it's scalping, so I'll take 1000 quantity, I'll look for 20, 30, 40 points, and for momentum I'll be looking for 70, 80 points, or 100, or maybe 200 as well.
Great. ऑसम. सर हमारे पास मैंने ऑलरेडी काफी सारे क्वेश्चंस आपके लिए आने लग गए हैं हमारी ऑडियंस की तरफ से. आई थिंक आई हैव अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस बट देयर क्वेश्चंस अज्यूम प्राइमेसी.
Sure.
सो ब्रेकआउट चार्ट सर, बिल्कुल.
सर एक बहुत कॉमन सी डिबेट है मार्केट में कि वाई ऑप्शन बाइंग एंड वाई नॉट ऑप्शन सेलिंग. सो वाई डू यू प्रेफर ऑप्शन बाइंग? बिकॉज मेजर टाइम जो डेल्टा का इफेक्ट है, टाइम डीके का इफेक्ट है, दैट इज ऑलवेज अगेंस्ट अस. सो देन वाई वन शुड प्रेफर ऑप्शन बाइंग? बिकॉज मार्केट में सिनेरियो ऐसा बन चुका है कि सब सेलिंग की तरफ ध्यान देते हैं. नॉट मेनी पीपल ट्राइड option buying. So then why did you choose option buying? How did you decided going against it?
I think it's not going against actually, because market has two players, one is a buyer and one is a seller, and market needs both of them equally. It's not that one can be very dominant and one can be very small. That cannot happen. I mean, market wouldn't work that way. So what I feel is, option selling or buying, it comes naturally, or it comes from your nature. So I never, I mean, I don't know why, but I never had that what you can say, I never had that urge to go into option selling. I, from the day one, whenever I started trading, that is when I was only into option buying. See, many people say that option selling consistently पैसा बनता है, या फिर long term में option selling में ही पैसा बनता है, buying में नहीं बनता. I don't agree with that, or I don't think it is true, because अगर लोग थीटा की बात कर रहे हैं, तो लोगों ने डेल्टा की भी बात करनी चाहिए, because there are four aspects to option pricing, not only one aspect, that is theta. So I would say that if I was going into option selling, I would look for a higher strike price, or 200-300 point strike price. But for an option buyer, uh, I think getting the points, or with a smaller investment, getting good profits is much more beneficial. I understand that there is a lot of skill that is required in option buying, and it takes a lot of time, or it takes a lot of effort for a buyer to get to a level where he can make money consistently. But I would say everything boils down, I mean, you take your option selling, you take your option buying, everything boils down to what is your risk management, what is your position sizing, and what is your discipline. It's not necessary that an option seller always makes money. There are so many people who have burned their hands badly in option selling, and so many people who have burned their hands badly in option buying as well. So it all boils down to your risk management, your discipline, and your position sizing. You do whatever you like, but at the end of the day, these three things are the ones which will put you apart, or which will put you in a different category as a trader.
Perfect, sir. Thank you for that. Vishu, over
Right.
to you. Yeah.
ओके ऑसम. ठीक है सर. तो कुछ ही क्वेश्चन हमारे पास दो दो जगह क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं. वन इज इस स्पेस का कमेंट्स भी है और एक ट्वीट मैंने पिन भी करी थी. ओके, आई विल ट्राई टू पिक अप फ्रॉम बोथ दी स्पेसेस. पहला क्वेश्चन सर, ओके, सो करण कपूर सर का है. ये आस्क्ड व्हाट इज द बेस्ट इंडिकेटर यूज, आई मीन द वन और टू दैट हैव बीन मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल फॉर यू.
For me, moving averages have worked beautifully, and they have helped me a lot. So I would say moving averages are, they work really well, and they can be used on any time frame.
ओके, awesome. So उसमें भी सर कुछ आप मूविंग एवरेजेस में डू यू प्रेफर 200?
Yeah. So
I mean,
I use basically my setup. I'll explain my setup so that
yeah,
it'll be helpful for everyone. What I
awesome.
do is I use moving averages, that is 20 EMA, 50 EMA, 100 EMA, and 200 EMA. These are the four moving averages that I use, and I use them on all time frames. And then I use stochastic and MACD. These are just additional confirmation indicators that I use. I don't rely on them totally, but these are just for additional confirmation. So what helps me as a trader is that for an option buyer, identifying the trend is very important, right? So the moving averages give you a very good indication of what kind of a market it is. If the moving averages are expanded, or they are moving in one direction in tandem, all of them, that gives you a very good idea that they are moving in on the upside, let's say. And if they are coiling together, or if they're coming together, that is the time you can understand that no, this is not a buyer's market, or this is only a scalper's market, where you have to play 2020. You cannot play a one day match or a test match. So that is how I use moving averages to identify the trend, and based on that, then trading becomes much easier.
Right, right, awesome. Uh, Sir, next question is Akash Trivedi sir ka. He's asked, can you explain about volume? I mean, some basic points about volume, how to trade with volume.
Yeah. So volume, basically, I observe volume a lot when price is coming to a support. Let's say if there is a swing high or swing low, what kind of a volume that is generated there, and when a breakout or breakdown happening, what kind of a volume is generated there. And what I've observed is mostly a breakout or a breakdown will sustain if it's happening after 12:15 or 12:30, especially on an intraday basis. If you look at that, we've observed last many months also, that whenever you're getting a sharp rally just before 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, it's been very difficult to sustain. At least lately, it's been very difficult to sustain, and we see a v-shaped down move also, or if it's a down move, we see a v-shaped up move also. If anything that is happening before 12:15 or 12:30, that has been my observation lately.
Right, awesome, awesome, sir. Thank you so much for that. Okay, next questions. Breakout chat, sir. Yes, please.
Just a question to you. Do you
Mhm.
use VWAP in your setup by any
Yes, I do.
chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
For futures, I use VWAP, and options
Okay.
also I use VWAP. Options, I mean, I would say traders who are doing option trading, you should definitely use VWAP. It is a very very helpful tool, and it helps us a lot in trading.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Right, awesome. Okay, next question, sir. किशोर सर का है, क्या पेपर ट्रेडिंग करना ठीक रहता है इन ऑप्शंस?
Paper trading. I would ideally say no, because it's like when you're driving a car, we will only learn if we drive a car on the road. If we drive a car on simulation and then we say that okay, now I have learned and now I can go on the road and drive the car, I don't think so. It's going to help much. So instead, instead of doing paper trading, I would say uh, focus on the learning and find out the points or find out things that you have learned, and write down in your notes or write down somewhere, which is going to be helpful in your trading journey.
Right. Sir,
And
एक और.
I
Yes,
would
sir.
like to add something. Paper trading is strict, no. Uh, in addition to what sir said, क्या होता है ना, जो इमोशन टेस्टिंग होती है ना, दैट वुड नेवर
Exactly.
हैपन,
Yeah.
बिकॉज द थिंग इज, जब बैंक निफ्टी ट्रेड करते हैं ना, तो अगर 3 मिनट की एक कैंडल बन जाएगी 50 पॉइंट की, दो इट माइट नॉट हिट योर स्टॉप लॉस, बट आपके मन में ना वो डर आ जाएगा कि अभी नीचे जा रहा है, नीचे जा रहा है, आई शुड एग्जिट, नहीं तो मुझे और लॉस बुक करना पड़ेगा। आप बैक टेस्ट करेंगे किसी स्ट्रैटेजी को, अगर आपका स्टॉप लॉस हिट नहीं होगा तो नहीं होगा, स्ट्रैटेजी हो सकता है 90% टाइम प्रॉफिट दे रही हो, दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली फाइन। बट क्या होता है जब एक्चुअल ट्रेड होता है ना, अभी लास्ट एक्सपायरी को देख लीजिए, थर्सडे को क्या हुआ, लास्ट एक्सपायरी को मार्केट इतना शार्पली फॉल हुआ, अगर आप गलत रॉन्ग साइड में थे तो आपने सोच रखा होगा कि स्टॉप लॉस 20 पॉइंट का है, स्ट्रैटेजी ने बोला कि 20 पॉइंट का स्टॉप लॉस हिट हुआ, हो गया। क्या होगा ना, जब आप एक्चुअल ट्रेड में होंगे ना, 20 पॉइंट का स्टॉप लॉस कब 40 पॉइंट हो जाएगा, इतनी बड़ी बड़ी कैंडल्स बनेंगी, तो वो जो इमोशन टेस्टिंग है वो कभी नहीं हो पाएगा पेपर ट्रेड में। सो स्ट्रिक्ट नो नो फ्रॉम माई साइड कि पेपर टेस्टिंग इक्विटी में करना चाहें तो कर लीजिए, बट ऑप्शंस में तो बिल्कुल मत कीजिए।
एग्जैक्टली, जब पैसा अकाउंट में आएगा या फिर पैसा अकाउंट से जाएगा, तभी तो इमोशन टेस्टिंग होगी। अगर हमको पता है कि पैसा आने भी नहीं वाला और जाने भी नहीं वाला, तो इमोशंस तो प्ले ही नहीं होते उसमें।
वो सर जब वो रेड MTM दिखता है ना,
हाँ,
वो
एग्जैक्टली।
उसका बहुत बड़ा इफेक्ट होता है।
राइट।
यस, ओवर टू यू विश।
बिल्कुल. ओके. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन भी कुछ सिमिलर ही है सर. कल्याण सर का है, हाउ टू गेट टू नो अबाउट प्रीमियम डिके व्हेन इट्स हैपनिंग विदाउट एंटरिंग इनटू ट्रेड.
प्रीमियम डिके विदाउट एंटरिंग इनटू अ ट्रेड?
हाँ, ये मतलब मुझे भी कुछ, आई थिंक थोड़ा पेपर ट्रेडिंग से
Yeah,
ही
I
वही
think the only thing you can watch is what kind of a market it is. So, for example, I'm using EMAs, and if the EMAs are very sideways and they are very close to each other, that is clearly telling me that there is no momentum in the market, and it's pointless entering into a trade. So, I would say if you want to analyze that, maybe analyze based on the EMAs. That will help you.
राइट. ऑसम. ऑसम. ओके, नेक्स्ट सर, वरुण सर का और विजय सर का दोनों के ही क्वेश्चंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट पे हैं, विच इज हाउ टू कंट्रोल इमोशंस एंड व्हाट इज अ psychology after taking a trade, as there is a fear of losing very fast on expiry days. Similarly, Vijay sir ka bhi question is, after experiencing 2008 crash, the real problem with me is that I'm not able to enter long trades easily. So how to change the psychological block or fear?
Right. Okay, perfect. Now, for this one, I have a very important point I want to share. When we talk about fear, where does fear come from? You ask yourself, if you're fearful about something, where is that fear coming from? For me, let's say when I was, in fear, when I was, I was very scared of taking a trade or maybe trying to make 2000 also, 2000 rupees also in a day. So that fear I analyzed was coming from the uncertainty that I had in my mind. I was not clear about what I am trying to do in the market. I was not clear about that. What I was only focused was to make that 2000 rupees. I was not focused on the process that will take for me to make that 2000, 5000, or 10,000. I was not clear about that. I was only focused on the red M2M, green M2M, red M2M, green M2M. When we watch that red and green, that is what is going to create that fear in our mind. But when we are watching the chart, when we are watching the level, when we are watching the price, that is going to give me the confidence. Why? Because for me as a trader, it is more important to understand the behavior than to understand the M2M, or than to analyze the M2M. M2M is going to be the byproduct of how we understand the behavior of the market. Once we are, so, we talk about this a lot, that let's say for example, Bank Nifty. Why I only trade in Bank Nifty is because I have, over the 6 years, I've tried to understand the behavior. I want to be a Bruce Lee. I want to practice one kick 10,000 times. And this is what my mentor has told me, that one index, one index is more than enough to make a living. So that is why when I am focusing on one index or one chart, रात को 2 बजे भी कोई उठा के बोल दे कि निफ्टी का लेवल क्या है, बैंक निफ्टी का लेवल क्या है, तो आई शुड बी एबल टू से, आई शुड बी एबल टू टेल क्लियरली. एंड looking at the candle structure, I should be able to understand what kind of a behavior price is making. So I want to get so much hold of the market, or so much hold of the behavior. Once I have that hold of a behavior, that is when my confidence is going to grow. Why? Because I am making Bank Nifty or Nifty my best friend. So I know what is my best friend's behavior going to be when he's going to be angry. I know what is his behavior, or how he's going to look at me. Just by looking at him, I should be able to understand that okay, अरे ये तो गुस्सा हो गया है, या फिर तिरछी नजर से उसने देख लिया, तो मेरे को पता होना चाहिए कि अरे ये गुस्सा है या इसको अच्छा लग रहा है. या फिर कोई जोक उसने शेयर कर दिया हो, बट उसका मीनिंग सब सिर्फ उसको और मुझे पता होना चाहिए. तो वी हैव टू analyze the behavior in this way, because at the end of the day we have to understand there are humans who are trading, or there is human emotions behind every index. So that is why every index, every stock has a different way of behaving, and we as traders, we have to understand that. Once we get through that, once we spend time with that index, that is when we are going to master it, or that is when we are going to get good at it. And this is what will help us reduce the fear. This is the exact point what is going to help us reduce the fear. Once the fear is reduced, that is when the process comes of making money or getting into a trade, or that is when position sizing comes to place. Many people fear. Why? Because they have put in so much money, they cannot handle the M2M. So this is where position sizing and risk management is going to be affecting. For example, if I have 3 lakh rupees, this 3 lakh rupees is my life saving. And every trade, if I'm taking 3 lakh rupees in a position sizing, what is it going to do me as a trader emotionally? It is going to hurt me badly. Why? Because this is my hard earned money. I've already put so much of burden on my mind, saying that अरे यार ये तो मैंने बहुत मेहनत से ये पैसा जुटा के लाया है, अगर इसमें से भी चला गया तो मेरी लाइफ तो खत्म है, या फिर मेरे लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम होने वाला है. When you've already come to the market with such kind of a emotion, then how are we not going to be fearful? We are definitely going to be fearful. So risk management and position sizing is very, very important. So for example, this 3 lakh rupees, instead of trading with the entire 3 lakh rupees, if you trade with 30,000 and try to understand or practice in the market for 2 to 3 years to understand the behavior, and trade with one lot, two lot, try it with that and understand the behavior, not to make money but to practice. Because when we go to college, we do not get graduate in a month or in a year. It takes us 3-4 years. So spend time in the market, understand the behavior in and out on multiple time frames, and then you can see the magic happening.
Right. Awesome.
I have a additional question on it. So do you have any algos to counter the thing you said कि emotion कैसे होगा और system कैसे होगा, trade कैसे होने, risk management के लिए? So do you have any algos or any system, or you
I do
trade
not have
manually?
any algo. I only trade manually. I am a completely discretionary trader. But yeah, I have systems. System as in I have some rules that I follow. That कहाँ पे ट्रेड लेना है, क्या स्टॉप लॉस रखना है, या फिर कहाँ पे एंट्री होनी चाहिए, कहाँ पे नहीं होनी चाहिए, कहाँ पे ज़्यादा स्टॉप लॉस होगा, कहाँ पे कम स्टॉप लॉस होगा. But that is all in my mind. It's not written on paper, but it is all in my mind.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Right. Great, sir. ओके नेक्स्ट सर, इसी से रिलेटेड ही साइकोलॉजी से रिलेटेड ही एस्पेक्ट है, सुमित सर ने भी पूछा है, प्रशांत सर ने भी पूछा है, if you could elaborate something about your journey from a 40 lakh loss to its recovery and how difficult it was and how did you overcome your strategy and psychology over there?
Definitely, it was a very difficult journey. I mean, in a point in my life, I was in depression, and I had consulted a psychologist also to understand what is going wrong with me as a person. And the psychologist clearly told me that trading is a high intensity business, and I need utmost focus. And what I was doing was, I used to sleep at 3 in the afternoon, wake up 8 o'clock at night, go to my office, work the entire night, come back 6 o'clock in the morning, sleep for 3 hours, again wake up at 9 o'clock and trade for the entire day, and then again sleep. So that was getting a huge toll on me as a person and as psychological also, plus the burden of losses. Though I had good income from my other business, but still psychologically it was affecting a lot. But when I came across Jitendra bhai, Jit bhai, he guided me very well, and he was the one who you know explained about how we have to put in risk management, how we have to have discipline, how we have to protect our capital, and how we have to treat them as our kids. We have to grow our capital like our kids, we have to nurture them, we have to protect them, and that is how things work out. And slowly and gradually, once I understood the importance of understanding the market behavior, that is when things, see, market is going to reward you, but for you to be get to rewarded, you have to have the extraordinary patience that is required, the extraordinary discipline that is required, and the risk management that is required. So we have to go through that process to be successful as a trader.
Right. Awesome. Awesome, sir. सर, हमारे पास मल्टीपल क्वेश्चंस आए हैं, परीक्षित सर का, वरुण जैन सर का, और भी कुछ क्वेश्चंस है अराउंड द ओपन हाई स्ट्रेटजी. सो कैन यू elaborate a little on that, sir?
Sure. So open high, I would just share it in short. Why? Because open high earlier used to be very easy, but now it is gone a little complicated. I mean, you can understand when algos, or when the big players understand that this strategy is being decoded, or this strategy is being used by retailers again and again. It becomes difficult, or the, what you can say, the juice of that strategy gets lesser and lesser. It doesn't get sweeter, it becomes, it fades. So I would say basically open high is, let's say you look at an option, for example, today we had a, if everyone can pull up their chart and see 38,200 call. If you can see 38,200 call for today, it had an open high of 225. Okay, so what you have to do is, when there is an open high on any strike price, the one and simple rule that I would say is, look for the VWAP of that strike price. Whenever that strike price is crossing the VWAP, that is when it is a high probability trade that that option strike will reach to 225 or more. Because today from 225 it went to 300, or I think 320 or 330 also. So I would say, to trade open high, always look for option strike price and the VWAP of that strike price, or the closest moving average also. Let's say if it's crossed VWAP and the closest moving average is 20 MA, once that is crossed, it becomes a very good high probability trade. But in this situation, please understand that never look for, or never try to take the entire juice out of that move. Let's say for example, from 160 it is trying to move to 225. I will never book pinpoint at 225. I will keep on booking at 190, then 200, then 210, then 220, and so on. And
Right. Right.
always when you're trying to trade open high, always look for futures chart as well. Always try to correlate how the price is moving in futures, and then try to trade that option. Because what happens is, many people see, अरे हाँ open high है, तो अभी इसको ही लेके बैठते हैं. And then it keeps on sliding and sliding and sliding and sliding, and then that trade never comes back. So one thumb rule is, you have to look for the VWAP of the strike price, or the closest EMA that is above the VWAP. Once that is crossed, then it becomes a good high probability trade.
Right. Right. Great, sir. सर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन हम लोगों का ये भी अगेन दो तीन लोगों ने पूछा है, अमित शर्मा सर ने पूछा है एंड वीरेश सर ने पूछा है कि हाउ डू यू हैंडल बैंक निफ्टी वॉलेटिलिटी. फॉर इंस्टेंस अमित शर्मा सर का कहना है कि नाउ डेज मार्केट्स आर सो वॉलेटाइल दैट इट टचेस द स्टॉप लॉस एंड देन इट रिवर्सेस विद इन 1-2 candles. So most of the days are in red even though his view is often correct. So how do you handle this volatility these days?
Okay. So as we discussed about market behavior, so it relates to that as well. On top of that, whenever what I'm always analyzing before taking a trade, my thought process is always that ki, how much less can my stop loss be, or how accurate my entry can be. Because in a trade, I would say entry is the most important point. As a trader, if you work on your entry, that is where 50% of your job is done. Why? Because exits can be done anywhere. Like once your entry is good, or once you have a minimum stop loss, let's say 20-30 points, then it becomes a very high probability trade. For example, today I took a trade around 34,800. Sorry, not 34, sorry, 37,800, where first candle bank nifty went down, it came down, then it did not break the uh, first 15-minute candle low. From there it went higher and higher. So in these situations, what we have to look for are entry. Whenever you're taking a trade, before that, analyze what can be my stop loss, or how small is my stop loss. If you can analyze that, and if you can figure out that your stop loss is less, that is when your entry is good, and that is when your trade will be more successful.
Right. Right.
So for not getting stop loss hit, or for not letting the market take away a stop loss, I would say always think about and work on your entry. Whenever you're doing journaling, try to understand why it took your stop loss, where was your entry, and where could your entry have been so that it did not take your stop loss. These two questions you have to ask yourself whenever you're doing journaling, whenever you're looking at the market, whenever whatever trades you have taken, you analyze those trades and ask yourself these questions. If it was taking my stop loss, why did it take your stop loss, where did it take it, and what could have been my better entry point.
Right. Awesome, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question, sir. है कि is RSI divergence a good thing for a trader? And when do we feel we have a confirmed RSI divergence? And should we highly get a good opposite move?
Yeah. So RSI divergence, what I've observed is, I don't use RSI, but MACD also gives me an indication that there is a divergence on RSI that we can come with experience. So what I've observed is, whenever you're looking for a divergence, whenever there is divergence on your chart, okay, let's say it's a negative divergence, price is moving higher. Maybe I think today there might have been the RSI divergence at the top. I think so. There might have been. So if that was the case, always look for a big candle. Till the time you're not getting a large candle, or a full body green candle on a 5-minute chart, till that time do not go for that trade. This is what I would say. Because what I've observed is, mostly when a trend is ending, that is when you will try to get divergence, maybe on the upside or maybe on the downside. That is when you will see a divergence on your chart. So always remember, till the time you do not get if it's a negative divergence, look for a proper red candle, then you can enter it. If you're looking for a positive divergence, look for a proper green candle, then only try to enter it. Because many people get badly trapped just looking at the RSI. So the better confirmation for this to go into this trade would be a full body candle, either side.
Right. Awesome, sir. So next question is, sir, do you look for OI data while taking your trades?
Not really. OI changes so fast nowadays that I mean, I am a price action trader. It I mean, I don't mean that OI doesn't help. Though obviously it helps, and many times OI gives a very clear indication of what can happen. So, for example, last week, or this last expiry, what we had spotted was in the first 15-20 minutes or first 1 hour. That is what we spotted, that Bank Nifty went to it opened around 38,200, 38,200, but the OI on 38,000 call writing, it was not going down. Instead, yeah, it was not going down. So what we observed was, yeah, these guys are already in a loss. 38,200 is there and 38,000 call writers are not exiting. So what we observed was these guys are ones who are stronger, and what we observed after that was a bloodbath. And we saw 1,000 point move on the downside and then 500 point move on the upside. So OI does give you good indications, but it takes good kind of analysis. So there are traders who trade only based on data. There are traders who trade only based on price and indicators. So you can say that I am the second one. I trade based on price and indicators.
राइट ऑसम सर. सर स्ट्रैटेजी के बारे में हम लोगों ने ऑलरेडी काफी डिस्कस किया, बट मनीष सर का क्वेश्चन इज हाउ टू नो मोमेंटम इज कमिंग और इट इज ओवर इन इंट्राडे.
I would say firstly watch for the candle structure, the candle size. Now, how you can identify a momentum is starting is when the EMAs are coiled together, when the EMAs are coming together, moving averages. Let's say I'm using 20, 50, 100, 200 moving average. All of them are coming together, and you get a full body green candle. Let's say you get a full body green candle which is crossing all the EMAs, and it is closing above the smallest EMA, that is the 20 EMA. If it's closing above that, that is when it is telling me that yes, from here on the momentum can start. And as soon as the EMS starts expanding, you will see that the upward rally is moving higher and higher and higher, and then the moving averages will become dynamic support. They will act as a dynamic support. And once it's, let's say we are getting a breakdown happening and the price is breaking down below the 200 EMA and all the EMAs are going down on the downside, and we see a full body red candle with decent volume, let's say more than 50,000 volume on futures chart, on a 5-minute chart, that is when we can say that okay, now the momentum is shifting on the downside and we can see a rally on the downside.
Right. Awesome. Next question, sir. Abhishek sir ka was around indicators, which we have already covered. Then in sir दो questions है index zone and Mahesh बोडके sir का. So index zone से question था how to know which day we need not to trade. Is there any parameter and how to avoid these days? Similarly, Mahesh sir का question was how to decide to go long or wait for retracement in trending markets like today.
Yeah, so the first question we have already discussed, how to know that it's not our day. That is when, especially for a buyer, when the moving averages are coming together, that is when you can stay away, mark the high and lows of small range. Let's say if it's a 200, 300 point range, mark the range and just leave it. Do not trade between this range. If you get a full body candle crossing this range with some volume, that is when you can enter into a trade. That is one. And what was the second one?
So second question was how to decide whether to go long or wait for retracement in a trending market like today.
So long, again, as we discussed, when the EMAs are if they're coiled together and if they are moving, or if they're expanding on one direction, that is when we can understand that it's a trending market. And once it's trending and once the moving averages are expanding, I would say a better buying opportunity would be around the 20 EMA. If the price is taking support at 20 EMA, that can be an ideal situation. If you missed the breakout or if you missed the move when the actual trend started, you can wait for retracement around 20 MA. That is when you can enter. But at 20 MA, you have to wait and watch how the candle structure is happening. Once, if the candle structure has a wick, if you get a wick at the 20 MA, that is when you can enter into that trade.
Right. Breakout chat, sir, please. Breakout chat, sir, you're on mute.
Yeah. So एक indicator से related question sir. Sir, how much do you use VIX as in your setup? VIX का कितना use है? Because in buying VIX का बहुत बड़ा role रहता है.
हाँ,
Premium
VIX is important. Yeah, VIX is definitely important. But nowadays, option or the big players, they have used VIX as a tool to move around the premiums. So yeah, uh, look at VIX in terms of percentage. Let's say VIX is moving 2-3% up, or 2-3% down suddenly. That is when, if it's moving up, it's good that you're going to get volatility. If it's moving down, then you have to be careful as an option buyer. Why? Because when, let's say, VIX is coming down, cooling off from, let's say, 21 to 18 or 19 or 20 also, those are the days where the price might move a little bit, but the option premium will not move. So keep a close watch on what is the percentage move of VIX, and also what is the range for the day. If the range is good, then no problems if the VIX is stable also. But if the range is also small and VIX is also not doing much, then you have to stay away.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Sir, Yash sir का question है, when you started your journey, how many quantities did you work with and traded, and how much time did you kept your capital maybe low till you increased it?
Sure. So generally, what my thing was, I used to trade with 100, 200, or maximum maybe on expiries. I used to trade 400, 500 quantities maximum. That was maybe 3, 4 years ago. But after that, once I understood the importance of position sizing and risk management, I kept smaller capital, let's say around 1 lakh, 2 lakh, and I traded with that, built confidence, set up a target of making consistently 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. Focus on that for at least 6 months or a year. Do not increase the position sizing till the time you have made, let's say, 4 5x of what is your deployed capital. For example, if my deployed capital is 2 lakhs, till the time I have not made 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs out of that, I should not be increasing my position sizing. I should be keeping my position sizing very, very stable. And also, I should not increase my position sizing by double. For example, if I was trading 200 quantities and after 6 months I make it 400, I am going to be feeling uncomfortable, or I'm going to have a bad patch. Why? Because your mind is tuned to trading with 200 quantities and understanding the loss and profit as per the 200 quantity. If you increase the quantity to 400, your M2M fluctuation is going to be doubled, which you might not be able to handle. So what my recommendation would be, or suggestion would be, once you think about position sizing, ask yourself, have you made consistent profits for the last 6 months or a year? If you have not, you should not be increasing your position sizing, because you need to prove yourself that with 200 quantities you are able to make money. If you are able to do that, then increase from, let's say, from 200 you can go to 250, then 300. Why? Because that is very important. Many people lose focus there. Many people lose their focus there, because suddenly you increase your positioning to double, and then you will ask yourself, अरे यार, जिस दिन भी quantity बढ़ा था उस दिन loss ही होता है. That is because your psychology is not tuned to that till now.
Right. Awesome, sir. Thank you so much for that. Next question, sir. Sai sir ka tha around identifying momentum entries, which you have discussed. This is an interesting question, sir. During which hours of the day you have got most of your profits or losses?
Most of my profits in the mornings, most of my losses between 11 to 1, and again most of the profits after 1:15. So I would say if somebody is new to trading, maybe avoid between 11 to 1.
Right. Awesome, sir. Okay. So this is okay. ये वाला question भी. So a lot of questions are already covered. Audiences, if you have missed, if you maybe joined late and your question is not covered, try listening to the recording of the podcast. We'll release it right after the podcast is over, so we can listen to it again. ओके पंकज सर का क्वेश्चन होता है, सर जब ब्रेकआउट होता है तो स्टॉक सीधा 8-9% बढ़ा हुआ होता है, उसे बाय करें या अवॉइड करें?
Stocks, though, I do not track, but again, I would say, based on the structure of the stock, let's say if it's crossing 52-week high with some momentum, then yeah, there is a possibility of going more higher. But usually I do not watch stocks, or I don't trade stocks, or you'd be surprised, I do not hold stocks also. So I just focus on Bank Nifty. That's it.
Right, right. Awesome, sir. Okay. So next question is about market profile. How to can you give us some books or good software to learn market profiling?
It's been a long time that I have observed about market profile, because I do not trade based on market profile, but Jeet Bhai is the one, Jitendra Singh. He is the one who can teach you very well about market profile. He's been a student of market profile for a long time. J Nifty Wizard, he is also one of very good traders who trades market profile. Then Chai is there. These guys are the ones who can help you a lot, especially in India, who trade based on market profile. But understand this thing that market profile, understanding it takes 6 months to a year. So if you want to be a student of market profile, you have to at least give 6 months to a year to learn that and understand the structure.
Right. Awesome, sir. Okay. Market outlook. Karan sir का question आया था. So we discussed that in the very beginning of the podcast. You can listen to that.
Mhm.
Uh, Setups. Vithal sir ने पूछे थे, which we already discussed in the podcast. Sir, do you use CPR? Krishna sir का question
No,
है.
I do not use CPR.
Okay. Okay. Chandu sir ka question is option Greeks more important in option buying?
Uh, I actually don't know much about option Greeks, honestly. I only know that प्राइस बढ़ेगा तो डेल्टा बढ़ेगा, प्राइस गिरेगा तो पुट का डेल्टा बढ़ेगा. So,
Right.
you know, if the more simple we keep things, the more better it is for us as traders, I would say.
सर ने परफेक्ट लाइन बोली कि प्राइस बढ़ेगा तो प्राइस बढ़ेगा तो ऑप्शन का प्राइस भी बढ़ेगा. सिंपल. क्योंकि सर क्या है ना, जो बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन अभी अपन देख रहे हैं ना,
हाँ.
ये ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम है ना, बहुत लोगों ने कॉम्प्लिकेटेड ऐसा दिखा दिया है कि
हाँ, राइट.
ऑप्शन बाइंग इज बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, या सेलिंग भी बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है. इतना
Exactly.
कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है नहीं जितना अब सबको लगने लग गया है.
Actually, it is not that, it's not a rocket science. We humans have made markets, and I think we have made it simpler than we can think about it. But it's just that, you know, uh, complicated is fancy, complicated is in vogue, you can say. So keep it simple. Keep focus on one or two charts, and you can make a living out of it.
Right. Awesome. Kiran sir का सर एक अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, how to avoid the habit of overtrade?
हाँ, तो what I do is, though I I as a trader, or we as traders, we always lack discipline, or we always do not follow discipline very religiously. So how to avoid over trading is, I can give you a very simple solution. Okay. This I practiced for some time, and it worked really well for me, though I mean, I do not follow that now. But to be, let's say if you're taking 20-50 trades, or maybe more than that, scalping trades, or if you're trying to chase every candle, what I would say is, to avoid this habit. Okay. Pick out five stones, five small stones, gather them, put it on your desk. Okay. Whenever you're trading, once you have done one trade, pick out that stone and keep it aside. This you have to trade when you're done with your five trades. Once you're done with your five trades, you have to stop trading. If you can follow this rule, you'll be a disciplined trader. If you cannot follow this rule, you won't be a disciplined trader.
Right. Awesome, sir. Okay. Rakesh sir ka question was how to increase and decrease position size, which we kind of covered, I think.
Mhm.
Okay, Vishal Mishra sir ka question was how much capital should we deploy for options trading? So, sir, do you have a maybe equity versus options में deployment का percentage that people should keep?
Deployment, I think you should. It should be based on your experience in the market always. And I feel that first, at least we should, instead of thinking about deploying capital, we should think about uh, gathering the knowledge with the least amount of money that we can give to the market, or we can pay the fees to the market. the least amount of fees that we pay to the market, the better would be for us as traders to be in a good situation. Because for 19 or 95% of the people, what we do is that, already we bring in so much money that though we cannot afford to lose, but still we want to get into the market. Why? Because someone of our friends has told us that अरे market में पैसा बनाना बहुत easy है, या फिर market में बहुत अच्छा पैसा बनता है. Okay, so I would say, keep as low fees as you can to the market, or give as low fees as you can to the market. And you know give yourself time. If you're coming to the market, give yourself at least 3 to 4 years. Do not think about making money within the first 3 months or 6 months. Do not do that. That is the biggest mistake someone can do. Focus on the learning, focus on observation, and you know try to understand all the aspects of the market, because there are market cycles. Market works on cycles, and till the time you understand one cycle, at least that is 6 months or a year, that is when you'll be able to understand the price changes. So focus on learning for at least 6 months a year. Do not bring money that you cannot afford to lose, or maybe if you can afford to lose, still your fight should always be that I want to protect this money. My only job is to protect this money, stand in the market for as long as I can without losing this money.
Right. Awesome, sir. Breakout chat, sir, please.
सर ये थोड़ा डाइसी सा क्वेश्चन है. सपोज एवरीवन हैव अ फिक्स्ड अमाउंट, मतलब अमाउंट नहीं इन परसेंट, कि जैसे मान लीजिए कि आई वांट टू अर्न X% पर मंथ हाइपोथेटिकली. तो सपोजिंगली आज 8 दिन हुआ है, सपोजिंगली आपका जो मंथली टारगेट है वो आज अचीव हो गया है. Then does your trading psychology changes, or it still be the same कि अगर सेटअप मिलेगा तो I would be going with the full quantity, या you would be restricting yourself, so you would be protecting the amount you have earned, or you will be going in full swing?
So
ये थोड़ा मेरा पर्सनल क्वेश्चन है.
yeah. So this is how I work out, or this is how I try to manage it. Let's say, for example, start of the month I have a deployed capital of 10-11 lakhs. Okay, and in the first, let's say, first 8 days we have done our monthly target. Okay, so what I want to do is, I do not want to get into a situation where I have to put in a single rupee from the profit that I want. That is the situation that I want to bring in first. So to do that, what I do is, I have reduced my deployed capital. Let's say from 10 lakhs, now I am trading only with 7 lakhs, as I have done my profits for the month. So I just keep 7 lakhs in my account. What that will do is, that will automatically restrict me from entering into more position sizing. Apart from that, I want to restrict to the amount of loss that I want to make in a day. So if I do that, if I do these two three things, that will automatically help me to reduce my position sizing and not go into too much quantity. So what we can do is, let's say if you have done your monthly target, you can focus on a more high probability setup. For example, today I was able to capture 200 points in a trade with a smaller position sizing. Let's say with a 1000 or a 1500 quantity, I was able to capture 200 points. So when you're done your target for the month, then try to be a better trader instead of trying to run behind the money. So in these scenarios, what you can do is, you can reduce your position sizing and look for a trade which will give you higher points. What that will do you for you in a longer term is, it will help you to be a better trader. It will help you to catch momentum. It will help you to be patient and to be in the trade for a longer time. Ultimately, that is everyone's goal, to be in the trade as for as long as possible, or you want to take as much as the juice you want from the trade that is going on, or from the momentum that is going on. So once you're done with the target, focus on these things, or try to improve yourself as a trader on these things, instead of keeping the position sizing the same, or instead of getting aggressive or trying to make maybe next month's target also. Maybe you can focus on these things.
Thank you for this, sir. Because मेरा monthly target हो चुका है, touch wood. So now I am looking
Yeah.
Now I'm looking because I'm new to options. I was a full-time equity guy, so
Uh-huh.
but for last 3 4 months I have been trying my hands on options. So अब
Right.
मेरे इस महीने का टारगेट हो चुका है. Then now I'm in a dilemma कि अब मुझे करना क्या, because क्योंकि लास्ट 2 3 मंथ से मार्केट इतना चॉपी था that I was barely surviving.
Mm-hmm.
And this month in 8 days my monthly target has been done.
Great.
So uh,
So you can focus on being a better trader, and focus on your weaknesses. That if there is a weakness, if you're not able to ride a trend, then try to focus on that. Or if you're not able to trade a trade, or if you're not able to trade a resistance trade, you know focus on that, maybe.
yes sir, surely पक्का
Yeah.
से try कर. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, all good things come to an end. So does this. So has this podcast as well.
Hmm.
But sir, before we leave, can we have a quick concluding remark or one final advice for our listeners? Or जैसा कि one of our audiences, Sheikh Bilal sir ने कहा है, maybe you can touch upon how to be more like Vijay Thakre sir.
So Bilal is my student from the current program, and I mean, I really like that. My all my students love me so much, and they are so much happy about whatever we are doing. So yeah, what 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 somebody would want to be a Vijay Thakre, or you know how to get into maybe that position is, never give up, boss. Never ever give up in your life. When you are trading, or when you are in any business, when you are into anything, focus on the solution. Your problem or whatever issue you have in your life, the only way out is the solution. And your job as an individual, as a businessman, as a family man, or as a human being, if you focus on solutions and sorting out the issues that you have in your life, you will go to heights that you have never seen before. If you have a problem in trading, if you have a problem with position sizing, work on it. Think on it from an innovative perspective, or think from it from a point where you can find a solution to it. And I would say trading is all about finding yourself. It is about finding you as a person. Trading is not about price, or trading is not about M to M. It is an extension of you as a person. So understand your behavior towards the market. Once you are sync with the market, you will love trading as it's like your family member.
Right. Brilliantly put, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So this was our time. Once again, thank you so much, Vijay sir, for accepting our request and
Thanks a
coming
lot
to
for having me.
the
Yeah.
podcast.
Thanks.
And
Hey,
sir, I
I
do have a
really.
request. Please do come again and help us learn more.
Sure, sure. Definitely, always.
Right. Awesome. And again,
I
thank you so
hope
much, Breakout.
it
Yeah.
was.
Yes, sir.
I hope the session was helpful. I hope people got some points from this one, which can help them in their trading journey. So yeah, if you have any questions,
Absolutely.
definitely, yeah. Great.
Absolutely, sir. This was brilliant. This was amazing. बहुत सारे questions. I think our audience also deserves a big applause. They asked
Yeah,
very
I
good
mean,
questions.
yeah, I'm surprised that we have 440 people listening to this. So I feel humbled. I feel very happy that so many people are eager to listen to this. So yeah, really
Yeah.
good listening to this.
India has a bright future ahead, sir. So many people are
Definitely.
entering the market.
अरे निफ्टी 24-25 हजार लगाएगा पता भी नहीं चलेगा हमको.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bilkul. Once again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Breakout Chat, sir. Once again, coming to host with us. Thank you so much, Vijay, sir, for
Thank
taking
you.
out time to talk to us. Have a really good night, everybody. A good holiday tomorrow and a profitable week for the times to come.